The British Isles, a landscape overcrowded by people, where natural wonders still persist in the last wild spaces. In this film, we will observe the influence of the Four Seasons over the British Isles. From the cold breath of winter to the bounty of life in spring. Along the way, we'll explore the unique, charismatic, and fascinating species that call this precious place home. These are the Four Seasons. Winter, the toughest time of year. In January, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, creating shorter days with colder temperatures, with many mornings frosty and barren like this. During times like these, you must be an opportunist to survive. The Eurasian kestrel is one such species that can survive through winter, and this one is on the hunt. These birds aren't repelled by strong winds and create an illusion of hovering, making their wings match the speed of the wind blowing against them. Slight adjustments to their wings and tail feathers enable them to focus on the unsuspecting prey below. Sadly, she will have to go hungry today. Despite the general hardships of survival during these few cold months, many species specifically visit Britain at this time of year. Brighton in East Sussex, located in the south of England, facing the Channel. At the busy Palace Pier, a marvellous performance is brewing over the seafront. Common starlings, a small bird, no bigger than your hand, come together at this time of year, making structures as large as houses. These magnificent displays are called murmurations, due to the murmuring sound created by thousands of starlings flying in unison. Despite being resident in the UK year-round, many starlings migrate over from Eastern Europe to escape the more extreme winter on the mainland, with the old pier on Brighton's seafront being a perfect spot to roost. Here, the murmurations can reach up to 40,000 individuals, each bird like a tile in a grand black mosaic in the sky. Birds nesting from nearby flocks join the display on the seafront, making this cloud of birds grow and grow and grow. It still isn't fully understood why the starlings perform these displays. Some suggest it helps them to evade predators, or strengthens coordination between birds. Perhaps it's for the pure enjoyment of flying together. Despite the seemingly large swarm of starlings, these birds are under serious threat. Starling numbers have significantly declined since the 1980s, with changes to their habitat and intensive agriculture affecting flocks across the UK. We are now at risk of losing one of nature's greatest marvels. As the position of the Earth shifts, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, bringing longer days with warmer temperatures. These early changes can be seen when frost begins to melt earlier in the day, a small sign of the coming change. Days grow longer and warmer, sending signals to the natural world to awaken. March, and the fens of East Anglia greet the spring sun. Life is starting to bounce back into these ancient wetlands, and the reeds and waterways begin stirring with life. For most animals, spring is an important time to rear new offspring in a season of plentiful food and warmth. And one species has a special way to prepare for parenthood. Great crested grebes. Nearly hunted to extinction in the 19th century, these birds have made a remarkable recovery and have become a common sight along Britain's waterways. During early spring, great crested grebes return to their freshwater territories from their coastal winter abodes. Here, they meet their long-lost partners, whom they may not have seen for more than 3 months. Because of this long break, the birds must reaffirm their bond, and there is no better way than dancing. First, they mimic each other's every movement, fluffing up their elaborate plumage and turning their heads side to side before preening their feathers. By watching their partner closely, they strengthen bonds, building trust, and it looks like these two are quite the pair. Soon, the grebes then begin the second stage of this unusual rite, with each of the grebes diving down under the water to collect pondweed, an important component of their nests and their courtship. The so-called weed dance can then commence. With the energy-sapping dance over, they have proven to each other that they can work hard to raise their offspring together. These would-be parents then tend to their nest, consisting of a floating pile of freshwater plants. The steadfast parents may spend a week building the raft, where their eggs will be laid and intently cared for. Once these dedicated parents have raised their offspring and winter approaches again, they will separate, dispersing to different locations. At least they can look forward to seeing each other again in spring. Conditions grow ever more favourable, with increased sunlight bringing more warmth and opportunities for growth. Soon, the cold weather is swept away, and the clear blue sky acts as a backdrop for new buds on trees to grow, and the canopy begins to blossom with colour. Finally, spring has arrived, and all life across the British Isles flourishes. The forest floor also prospers during spring. Flowers like these English bluebells carpet the ground, forming a glistening sea of blue under the filtered forest light. These elegant flowers absorb their energy from the sparse rays of sunlight that manage to penetrate through the canopy, occupying niches other plants cannot. Flowering slightly early in the spring before other plants also means they avoid competition for resources, explaining their large numbers. Above all other species, insects thrive during spring, especially pollinators like butterflies and bees. Over 260 species of bee are native to the British Isles, each of them relishing the comfort of spring, a time where they can emerge from hibernation and find food. But some of them are finding it a bit harder to wake up than others. This buff-tailed bumblebee is one of the UK's largest species of bee, and she is walking on the ground to conserve her energy. She is no ordinary bumblebee, she is a queen, recognisable by the pale brown colour of her tail. She is on the hunt for somewhere to establish a colony, a safe place to lay and bury her eggs, where they will hatch into worker bees. These bees will then fly out to gather nectar for the queen, allowing her to lay more eggs and expand the colony further. But right now, she must focus on regaining her energy after her long slumber. All species relish the warmth of spring, and days soon grow longer with more sunlight. Late May, and the Northern Hemisphere is locked in a position where solar radiation is plentiful. Summer has now arrived. This is a time where species must make the most of the warmth. At Wycombe Fen in Cambridgeshire, the water of the fens acts as an oasis, providing an area of water and shade where animals can cool down away from the summer heat. At this time of year, one special creature prepares for an important stage of its life cycle. A dragonfly. Wycombe Fen hosts over half of the UK's species of dragonfly, each possessing their own unique flair and distinct colours, and they are all out enjoying the summer sun. When temperatures are at their peak, these common darters fly to the nearest water source. Summer is a time for these dragonflies to lay their eggs. Together, the male and female fly in unison to lay their eggs, a behaviour called tandem ovipositing. The male darter holds the female as she dips her abdomen onto the surface of the water, releasing their minuscule eggs. These eggs will then sink and adhere to any pond vegetation, where they will hatch in 2 to 3 weeks. Soon, temperatures begin to shift, days grow shorter, and the air gets cooler. Incoming winds signal change. As the northern hemisphere cools due to decreasing hours of sunlight, changes in air pressure occur, resulting in powerful winds. Autumn is on its way. Richmond Park in central London. Created as a hunting park in 1637, the site has since been a haven for all kinds of wildlife. Red deer are the park's most charismatic creature. Originally hunted by the royals, the deer have thrived in the park and don't mind the presence of humans. The average stag at Richmond Park weighs 140 kilograms, with 5 kilograms of that weight coming from their impressive antlers. The size of a stag's antlers reflect the strength and health of the stag, with larger antlers attracting more females. These appendages are soft for most of the year, covered by a material called velvet, but as the rut approaches, the velvet is shed to reveal the sharp antlers beneath, perfect for fighting off rival males. In early autumn, the annual rut takes place, where rival stags compete for mating rights with female deer. These two stags start by sizing each other up. And soon enough, they begin to battle. Clashing their antlers together, they push against each other, a show of their strength. Only one stag will be victorious in the end of a duel. Despite the competition between stags during the rut, some have it easier than others. This mature stag is experienced in the rut. His deep roars attracting potential mates, whilst warding off rival males, telling them to keep clear. However, some younger stags don't seem to listen, and may attempt to mate with the larger stag's females. But he is having none of it. Running and grunting is an early warning for the young bucks to stay clear from the large stag, before he uses his deadly set of antlers to inflict fatal injuries. Even they know not to mess with him. Once the rivals have been driven away, he can start focusing on other matters. A single stag may mate with 30 females to secure his lineage, with the fawns being born in late spring when their sources of food are most plentiful. In mid-November, the woodlands undergo a beautiful change. This time of year is when deciduous trees in the UK prepare for dormancy. Shorter daylight hours trigger the release of hormones, which shut down the production of the green pigment chlorophyll, exposing different colours in the leaf. This gives rise to the spectacular reds, oranges, and yellows seen during autumn. Without chlorophyll, trees cannot absorb light to produce glucose, their primary energy source. With no more use for these leaves, they are shed, falling to the forest floor, where a dense pile of leaves form. The tree roots can then absorb these nutrients from the leaves for storage during the winter. European robins are one of the many animals looking for food. At this time of year, many robins migrate to the UK from Scandinavia and Russia to escape the harsher winters to the east, with the foreign visitors briefly increasing the number of these charismatic birds. Soon, the cold begins to settle in. Rains carried by prevailing winds scatter across the UK, particularly along the west. During early December, grey skies overshadow the damp landscape, a sign that winter is coming. As the cool approaches and fogs settle over the hills, the landscape grows quiet once more. Nature awaits for winter to arrive, to start the cycle of the seasons all over again.